Bye, this is a weird one, even for me. So, Oedipus is a story that is very disgusting, and of course the obvious way, the one that it's most known for, but going off the top of my head, it's also disgusting for a couple other reasons. Um, so first, let's start off the story, right? So there was this king and his wife, and this dude. I don't know. This dude comes in later, but he doesn't do anything in the beginning. So he's just sort of sat in the corner. Like if you can imagine this, right? King, queen, throne, oracle right in front of him. Oh, by the way, they call it an oracle. The oracle's right there. Dude's sitting there in the corner, like just chilling. So the oracle's standing in front of the king and queen, and the king's like, "My friend, the oracle, what is my fate?"
Son, I see a very dark. I see a dark future for you. Oh.
The king's like, "What is this disgusting, horrible, terrifying, bleak, gloomy future for me?"
You will be overthrown by your son in several ways.
And then the king looks over at the queen, and the queen's got her baby like. There are two ways that the story goes. One of them is that the king just waits for the baby to be born and then just Moseses him, expecting him to die, or at least not have the context to kill him. And some of them say that he tried to kill the kid, but then for some fucking reason, a maiden came out of nowhere and was like, I'm gonna sacrifice this other random kid and then just switch him out. I don't know why, because that's just mean. I'm going with the one where he's Moses.
Your son will kill you.
Yeet. Oedipus gets Moses, right? But then he gets Moses so far because nobody fucking wanted the kid. So he gets to this other village, or this other kingdom or whatever, that's like down the river. And then some random lady who's like, picks him up and he's like, "Mine now." She takes the baby home, and then her husband is just like, "Okay." And then, so Oedipus grows up poor when he should be rich, mobbing with the king. Fuck you, king. He was traveling, and he sees these messengers, right? So he kills the group of messengers for no fucking reason. He sees which kingdom the messengers came from, and he decides to go to that kingdom, and he just busts in the fucking kingdom. He busts into the castle or whatever, and he's like, "You know what, king? Fuck you." He kills the fucking king, and he looks at the queen, he's like, "Yo, bitch, you're mine now." And then the queen's like,
Okay.
if you'd like to imagine that it was like, at that exact moment, you can. Sitting on top of the dead king's throne, he's like, "So, Oracle Lady, what is my fate?" And then the Oracle Lady's like,
You have sealed your fate the minute you killed that king. Ah, fuck.
you probably said something dumb like, "Will I have an heir, Oracle?"
Fuck, dude! Gross!
I think she told him straight up,
You will fuck your mom and kill your father.
At some point in the story, he gets told that. Sometimes the Oracle shows up at his house while he's still poor, and sometimes it's like right at that point. But either way, and then one of the messengers survived, so he did a pretty shit job of killing dumbass. So what happens is he just busts into at the exact moment, boom. Hey boy, that's your mama, right? Because that was the guy. That was the guy that was standing in the corner earlier. Remember? What? Damn, you take after your father. And he's like, ew! After learning that he fulfilled the prophecy of killing his father and fucking his mom, he takes two giant red hot pokers, sticks them into his eyes, cuts his own dick off, and jumps off a cliff. It's a pretty good reaction. In self-fulfilling prophecies like this, right? Instead of trying to outright prevent the shit that's gonna happen, why don't you try to change your fate? You know, always told me that you are the master of your own fate. You are your own god. You can, whatever, if you don't want something to happen, you could will it to not happen by taking steps to make sure that it doesn't fucking happen. But in every Greek tragedy of the self-fulfilling prophecy, like take this, because this is a very common trope, right? Your son will overthrow you. So then you try to kill the son or try to keep him away from you, right? Like in Greek mythology, the same mythology, when Kronos was told one of your kids is gonna fucking kill you, he decided, I'm gonna eat all these kids. But then once that one kid got away from him and he grew up on his own, he sooked vengeance and pummeled the fuck out of his dad until he threw up all the other kids, and then they all killed him. So, what would have happened if he was like,
Your son will overthrow one of your children will overthrow you.
and then he was just like, okay, and then he just cared for his kids. Then like maybe one of them wouldn't kill him if he was just good at his job. They would have been okay with him maybe, and maybe it would have been a peaceful overthrowing. Like maybe just, well, I'm too old to rule now. You want to take over? Sure, Dad. Love you. No, it has to be. It's always got to end up killing. But either way, like Oedipus is like the main dude for this, right? And like, I thought, wow, he really didn't deserve that. His father really fucked him over. Oedipus did nothing wrong. He wanted to put on a t-shirt. But then I realized, no, actually, fuck Oedipus. He's a bitch. He's a bastard. I mean, he is a but he's a fucking. So, first thing on Oedipus's rap sheet, right? He killed those fucking messengers. You know the saying, don't shoot the messenger? That didn't come from Oedipus, but like, he should have known that. That was way before him. You let the messenger have safe passage. Why did you have to kill those fucking messengers? I mean, that made no fucking sense. You're a dick. But, I'm not sure. I wasn't there, so I couldn't really definitively tell you. But, so he killed the king for no reason, started fucking the queen. But this is, I realize, because in my head, right, Oedipus is in his late 20s, early 30s, because that's when you're at your peak, right? That's when you can beat up your dad, And assuming that his parents were like twice his age or something, 20 or 30, that's 50, 60 years old. Oedipus was banging 60-year-old pussy. Oedipus didn't know how literal the sentence "I'm into MILFs" would be. It's okay to enjoy that, but at some point it just gets gross. It just gets fucking gross. Because at that point, especially back in those days, they didn't have the shit that we have now, like medicine and shit. She was probably old, frail, skeletal, wrinkly, just fucking unrecognizable as a human creature. Probably no hair. Can you just imagine the grossest old person you can think of right here? You better not think of the fucking queen. I will kill you. He decided to fuck it anyway. He deserved everything. I feel that like everybody around Oedipus failed him to an extent, right? First of all, the father sending him away for no reason. Like, he could have prevented all of this if he was just a loving father. The queen failed him. His mom failed him. For fucking him anyway. Like, instead of being faithful to her husband, the king, she fucked the next dude. Like, this is my thing about oracles. If you just didn't tell him, like, I'm pretty sure oracles just make shit up. The last guy to wrong Oedipus was the guy that just came in and told him, hey, you know that's your mom, right? Like, if he came in and, like, didn't tell him, Oedipus would have been spared from the fate worse than... I mean, arguably, ignorance might have been the worst torture, because he would have kept doing it. But everybody could have just been like, okay, nobody tell him for his sake. I mean, maybe he would have figured out when the kid came out looking fucking gross. But I mean, 60-year-old pussy probably look gross anyway. But still, though. So, I feel like Oedipus not only deserved everything that he got, but he was still wronged by everybody around him. And I just feel like that's what really makes a tragedy, you know? Because there is no real right or wrong. There is no good or evil. All there is just bad, you know? Like, no matter who's in the right or who's in the wrong, everybody gets fucked, right? This is really gross. I knew this was weird. Whatever. Yeah. Moral of the story. If your kid is fated to kill you, go with it. That's like the natural order of things most of the time. And, yeah, don't fuck your mom. Or your dad. Don't do either of that. That's gross. It's okay when porn stars do it, because you know that's fake. But if you're a real living person, don't do that.